Welcome back to my channel. The topic for today is about how to be your authentic self. So we're going to be discussing the different ways, the different parts, and the different dimensions of being authentic. What does it mean to be an authentic person, and how can it help us, in our journey through life? So we'll start first of all. I want to start with going back into history, to understand where authenticity came from. Not really where it came from, but where the documentation of authenticity came from. It's traced to the early Greek philosophers. There's a popular Greek aphorism, that goes by "Know thyself," and know thyself. What it entails is being true to oneself, being true to your inner values, aligning your inner values and your inner beliefs and thoughts with your outward action. When you're able to balance this or align both of them, then you can be said to be authentic. Authenticity means having full power over your own self. It means being the master, of your internal kingdom, of your domain. That's where you have a locus of control. You don't have much control about what happens around you. We don't have much control about our external environment. But what we can control is how we respond to what is happening. And our response is where our authenticity lies. Now, being authentic, for me, I think that's the highest level of spiritual growth, when you get to be authentic. So even though the word is bandied around, like a meme or something, the truth is that I don't believe that anybody can be 100% authentic or 100% inauthentic. There are shades of gray in between. So we all fall in the spectrum. And what we want to do is to get closer to the ideal authenticity. Which is very attainable if we understand what it is. So that's where it came from. The original root word of it was authentos, which I mentioned earlier, which means to have full power, to be the master of your own internal domain, your own kingdom. Yeah. So what do we mean by being authentic? What is the first step to authenticity? That's what I want to discuss today. The first step, first and foremost, that has appeared in many studies on authenticity, and also for me, it is true, is self-awareness. Now, what does self-awareness mean? Self-awareness is it's a deep knowledge and trust in your beliefs. It's a deep knowledge of your beliefs, your values, your thoughts, your emotions, your feelings. When you know those things, when you are aware of them, and then you trust that these emotions and feelings and values are coming from a good place within you, that is the first step towards authenticity. So you need to know yourself, which is self-awareness. You need to tell yourself the truth about yourself. Now, when I say the truth about yourself, I mean we might have to take a travel in our mind back to our childhood, to understand how we got to where we are now. We didn't choose the family we were born into. We didn't choose the society that we were born into, but we were born there. We didn't choose the experiences that we had when we were children, but we had those experiences, and those experiences have shaped who we are today. So it's an acknowledgement of all those experiences and all the resistance that you had to those experiences, and understanding that you had to be a certain way for the world, for your parents, for your school, for your community, for the society to accept you. You had to behave in a certain way. So everybody is programmed in one way or the other. Those of us that are lucky to live past the childhood and get into adulthood now have a responsibility. We now have to take responsibility for our actions now in the present moment. But we need to also know that what has been driving us, or what drives us, is what we have experienced in the past. So being authentic is about peeling those layers, taking time to reflect. This is the self-awareness I'm talking about. This is the first step to authenticity. Peeling back those layers, telling yourself the truth about who you are, understanding how powerful you are, understanding the power that lies within you. You have full power to take control of your life, but we have been conditioned, we have been programmed, to fit into society, not just to fit into society, like to act in a way that we can get societal rewards for what we do. And that is what drives a lot of people, including myself. I still do some of it, but now I'm doing them consciously. So we need to be guided. We need to be guided by an internal self-regulatory process, that will align our core beliefs about the world with what we do on the outside. If we don't align it, that means we're wearing a mask. We're wearing a societal mask, that makes us acceptable to the world. So being authentic is about trying to take off that mask as much as you can, so you can show your bare face to the world. And it's amazing, after so many years I lived in my own house with my own parents and everything, they didn't know who I really was. Now, it's not because, like, when I was a child, of course, I wasn't hiding or anything. But when I got to the age of 7, 8 or something, I started shutting down in a way. I had my thoughts, but I couldn't share the thoughts with anybody. And I've carried those thoughts all over the years. And those thoughts and beliefs and values are who I really am. And it's surprising, after over 40 years, some people don't, like, people that lived with me all my life still never knew who I was. So I have been wearing those masks for a long time. So that's what I'm talking about. But now I've decided to be myself fully, to start the journey from self-awareness, to start the journey from to start to understand that I can determine what I do in the world. I don't have to do anything that will please for the sake of pleasing other people. So I'm not saying you shouldn't do things for people, but if you're doing it to the detriment of yourself, so that you please another person, or so that you get a certain kind of reward in the world, you're coming from a wrong place. The true core of authenticity means that you're transparent. So what you say is what you believe. The actions you take is because of what you believe about life. For example, I want to start a charity. I want to start a coaching business, or I've started a coaching business. I'm doing this because at the core of my soul is that hunger, is that desire to express all my truths, to help people people that need the help, to help those people, to heal, to share my experiences with people, which is what I'm doing on YouTube here. And I feel so happy. It energizes me. When you're authentic, the work that you're doing will energize you. It will give you enthusiasm to continue. You will not get tired by doing that work. Now that is the real work that is meant for you. And that's where we're going to start today. We have to start by telling ourselves the truth about ourselves. And I think I missed something out. Yes, I missed out something which has to do with it has to do with the truth telling. And the truth telling in this instance needs to be balanced, because that truth that you think you know may not really be the truth. So you need to balance it out by understanding your strengths, understanding your weaknesses, understanding your positive attributes, and then understanding your negative attributes, your toxic behaviors, those things that you do that people do not like, those reactions, those things that trigger you that are not meant to trigger you. Those are the things that you need to work on. So it's not just writing them down or listing them down. List your toxic properties, then start thinking of ways to mitigate them. Mitigate doesn't mean you're going to destroy it. No, the feeling is always going to come up, but it's how you react. Those triggers are going to be there. The triggers are external. It can be somebody that annoys you. It can be somebody that writes a negative comment on your Facebook page, and it triggers you to get angry and you start trading words with the person. Those kind of things, those little things that annoy you, those are the things that you need to be aware of. And when they come, when they trigger you, the way you respond needs to change. When you start noticing that you're changing your response, your responsibility, your responsibility, then you know that you're finding yourself. You're getting more aware of who you are and what you need to be doing. So, yep, I think this is all for this first day. I will continue the series in another video. Thank you.